Hello everyone and welcome to another historic video. So today we're going to be taking a look at mono red burn in historic. I don't think I've done a mono red in the longest time in historic. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I've seen a Twitter post of Pop Tart Kin, who has reached Mythic rank 46. I know it's a bit early in the season. The results could be a little bit skewed there, but I did still want to try a burn deck that had Eidolon of the Great Revel in historic. So I was like, why not? Maybe it's good. So that's why I decided to make a video about mono red burn. Now, I did change the sideboard a little bit. The main deck stays. Everything is 1-to-1 carbon copy, but I'll go into details of the changes that I made to the sideboard after I talk a little bit more about the main deck first. So we're playing a 22 land deck with 2 copies of Spike Field Hazard. And there's been a lot of cards that were added into historic, such as the Monastery Swiftspear and the Eidolon of the Great Revel, that boosted the burn potential significantly as of recent. And especially the Eidolon of the Revel, it's kind of like an anti-meta card at the moment. And I'll explain more about this card in just a minute. Now, I do have to warn you that if you were to try to play this in Explorer, for instance, it wouldn't work as well because there's a couple of cards that are missing, such as Electrostatic Blast and the Static Discharge, which are fantastic burn cards, which are digital only. Electrostatic Blast, it's a 2-minute instant speed card, which deals 2 damage to any target, but when you cast your next instant or sorcery spell, you can exile the top 3 cards of your library, and then you may play those cards until the end of the turn. Now, the way this is worded, you may play one of those cards until the end of the turn, and the fact that it doesn't say end of your turn, you do have to be careful the way you use this card. The best time you can play this card is on your opponent's turn, so that if you play something like a shock on your turn, you get to filter through 3 cards on the top of your deck so that you can play one of those cards this turn, including lands. The reason why this is important because if you do try to use Electrostatic Blast and another spell on your opponent's turn, those 3 cards just go to the exile pile without you being able to cast any of those. And this is especially true if you're trying to look for a land, since you can't play a land on your opponent's turn. And the next card is the Static Discharge. If you played Historic, you probably have been killed by this card a lot, especially from Izzet Wizard decks. Deals 3 damage and the intensity keeps going up, ramping up every time you cast it. And the next one's going to deal 4 damage and then 5 and 6 respectively. So those are going to be our only alchemy cards in the deck. But before we go to the sideboard, I do want to talk about Eidolon of the Great Revel. This is actually a card that has been on my mind for historic, because I think this card has a lot of potential currently. If you've seen some of the combo decks and some of the cards people are playing, so many combo decks that are trying to play multiple cards per turn, including decks such as Aura decks. They like to play a bunch of 1-mana spells. Although they can put an enchantment that gives you lifelink, but then you do have the sideboard so you can bring in something like Rampaging Frostodon, for example. You pair those cards up, your opponent's gonna have to worry about their life total pretty fast. And another deck that comes to mind is the Tier 0 combo deck, Trapfinder, Ominous Traveler combo. They do have to play Ominous Traveler multiple times per turn, and they have to draft a card, and then they have to play the drafted card again. They have to sacrifice to make mana, and then play the Ominous Trapfinder again, you know, all that stuff. And while they're doing that, trying to look for ways to get rid of your Eidolon, they might already be almost dead. So I do think Eidolon of the Great Revel at the current moment in the meta has a lot of potential, but of course you do have to worry about your own life total when you're playing with Eidolon. And also if you do pair up with Thorbrand, Eidolon does deal 4 damage every time they play something. And this doesn't actually affect you because Thorbrand does say that it would only deal damage to an opponent. So definitely there's some good stuff there. But if I were to add anything to the main deck, which I didn't because I do want to keep the integrity of the deck, especially the main deck, as the same because I do want to see if it actually does deal with the meta at all. But if I were to add anything to the deck, I would add something like Lelia, maybe 2 or 3 copies of it, maybe instead of a Lightning Strike, for instance. But at the same time, Lightning Strike kind of makes sense, especially considering that there's a lot of Izzet Wizard decks out there. So maybe instead of that, I could pivot towards Boros maybe, and then play Lightning Helix instead. So there's some options there. So as for the sideboard, like I said, I did change a little bit. First off, we got 2 copies of Unlicensed Hearse for the Graveyard decks. And then we got 3 copies of Goblin Chain Whirlers versus other Goblin decks, or any other creature decks that you can wall off because of the first strike, such as Humans decks, for example, or even Merfolk decks. And then we got 2 copies of Chandra Torch of Defiance. Against Rakdos midrange, for instance, you can sideboard out Torbrand for 2 copies of Chandra instead. And we got 2 copies of Rending Volley as an efficient 1 mana 4 damage removal spell versus white and blue creatures. And 3 copies of Brotherhood's End versus other creature decks and artifact decks. And lastly, we got 3 copies of Rampaging Ferocidon versus Goblin decks. But that's going to be it for the intro. I'm pretty excited to try out Mono Red for the first time in I don't know how long in Historic. I am very curious to see if it does hold up. So without further ado, let's hop on over to see how the deck does. But before we go, if you guys enjoyed the video so far, leave a like, comment below, subscribe, and let's hop on over. Alright, we get to go first. Not a bad hand. Not a bad hand. Attack. No way. No way. There's just no way that the first game I play against is a mirror match. I legit have never seen a mono red in Historic for the longest time. This is a hoax. So obviously I can do more damage here, but I think saving the Monastery Swift Spear is probably ideal. I do also want to cast this. This says exile the top 3 cards. You may play one of those cards until the end of the turn. Okay. You may play one of those cards until the end of the turn, so it's also end of their turn as well, right? So I have to cast it now. Ow. That's a lot of damage. I do lose out on this electrostatic value though. Maybe I'll get a land? Ow. Okay, this is a lot of damage that I'm taking. Okay, so no land, but I guess we're getting in there for a lot of damage. This is something I don't like about this card. Sometimes you just don't draw it. And sometimes opponent is dead. Alright, game 2. Just like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's a great card, but at the same time it could be bad. So they're playing Annex. Chain Whirler? I think Brotherhood's in for sure, right? Rampaging Frostodon also goes both ways. But I feel like because they play Annex, it's actually worse for them. Probably some Chain Whirler as well. But this matchup is a bit weird. They play Annex and Frostodon. What am I supposed to get rid of? Maybe because I'm going second this time, Eidolon is not that great. Maybe like cut like 2 Monastery Swift Spheres. Maybe like maybe Static Discharge. It's a sorcery speed. Maybe like cut 2 Lightning Strikes. And a Frostodon? Let's try that, maybe? Perfect. I think I'll bottom a Frostodon. I like keeping everything in my hand. It's probably better to pass here, right? Okay. This way, they have like a Shock or Bone Crusher Giant. My Soul Scar Mage is relatively safe. I think I am going to neuter this. We have to pass again. Robber. Before they attack, I do want to get rid of their Frostodon because they could have an Ember Cleave. Interesting. They have something. I don't want to give them another card with Robber, even though this could be like Lightning Strike. But I assume this is just a shock. Could be Bone Crusher Giant, actually. Bone Crusher Giant. So they gave this a haste? Am I okay if they shock? I'm gonna be playing Bunkers Giant, so it's gonna die anyways. If this is a removal spell. Yeah, I think that was fine. Get a little bit more greedy with Goblin Chain Whirler. Opponent? Why didn't you just play Bonecrusher Giant? What is happening? Sure. So that just happened. There you go. That's what you should have done last game. Last turn. I'll take the 2. I just want to attack with the Bunkers Giant here. So this one deals 4. I should have lethal. Let's just attack with this. Smart. Okay, they're dead. GG's. Okay, that was a pretty quick 2-0. Giganta. So this is what do you call it? The combo deck? Sure. Kumano's actually really good versus their combo deck. Because I get to exile their creatures. Oh, it's not. Okay. I think I'm just gonna lightning strike this. Gee, which one should I lightning strike? I mean, Balmor is... It can get more crazy. What am I thinking? Just kill both of them, right? Oh, let's attack first. Static discharge. Nice, they ran out of cards. I mean, creatures. It's exactly what we want. I think we keep this, right? Do we keep this? Does deal with their 3 HP creatures pretty nicely. They shock. Wizard's Lightning, sure. Okay. What's the deal here? How do they have 3 copies of Piece It Together already? Hello? So this is 3 damage? I deal 3, they go to 5. I mean 6. They block the den, they take additional 5. Is that too risky to play this out when we have Electrostatic coming? Okay. Wow, they actually blocked the Bone Crusher Giant instead. Okay, it doesn't matter though. We should have this one. They have the Bone Crusher Giant, the 1/1. Okay, well. That's game 1. This should be... Is this bad matchup? I don't know. I feel like it should be. But we somehow got there. That's pretty amazing. Is Rending Volley a card? They play Symmetry Sage. They have Balmor. Rending Volley. I guess it could be a card. What about Chandra? It could be like a 2-for-1. I think we get rid of Torbrand. What do we sideboard out? I think Eidolon should be good, right? I feel like it should be. Maybe like Play with Fire is not that good. Kumano is just decent. Maybe it is like Monastery Swift Spear. I don't want to sideboard like creature cards too much. But maybe it is what I'm supposed to do. Okay, this is not bad. Rending Volley. Okay, since they skipped turn 1, I think I should play the Soulscar Mage. Something like that could happen. Wizard's Lightning. I should do it now before playing this. There you go. Looks like they're out of creatures again. Which is fantastic. It's an interesting choice. Piece it together. Opponent. You cannot counter that. Okay. So that just happened. Okay. Very nice hand. This is like the dream. You all like Kumano starting hand with a creature in your hand? Man, it's just so good. I know I can deal additional damage here, but this is Blood Tide Harvest turn. Oh, it's a goblin. It's a goblin. Interesting. I should be mana efficient. The question is, am I going to deal a lot of damage right now? And I think the answer is yes. Three, four, five, six, seven. Versus if I do this face. 3, 4, 5, 6. It's the same outcome. Okay, they're dead. All right. Another quick game 2. I mean, game 1. Okay, this card should be absolutely insane, and this is the whole reason why we're playing Rampaging Frostodon, is to play against goblins. What about Brotherhood's End? Is this too cute? I'm already sideboarding like 6 cards here. I don't know. I don't know. I like Torbran in this matchup with Goblin Chain Whirler. Wombo combo. So these are staying for sure. Maybe it's Static Discharge. Usually this card is really good for burn, but... Well, I guess might as well play that instead of a Lightning Strike. And we'll get rid of Swift Sphere for game 2. Hey, Brotherhoods. This has to be good, right? I think this is keepable. Because we have double 1-mana cards. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been... I would have just mulliganed this one. Perfect. That's perfect. I think we pass. Because let's say if they do sacrifice a Skur Prospector for a 3-mana card, in which case they did not. So I used the Play with Fire because I wasn't sure I'm gonna be able to draw another mana. This could be Fatal Push. I'll take the 1. Wow. Maybe I should spike Field Hazard. But that's actually so good. Because now that's out of my Brotherhood's End. That is so freaking good. It's just that easy. It's just that easy. 2-0 every single game. It's... Wow, I mean... I thought Mono Red was gonna be kind of hard. But here we are.